What's up, foodies? Today we are going to make my low-calorie, high-protein lasagna. This recipe is great on satisfying your craving for pasta or lasagna. It comes in at roughly about 360 calories per piece. This is a super simple, fast lasagna recipe. It won't take you the whole day to make it, so let's get into it. All right, foodies. First, we're going to start by putting a pan onto the burner and setting that to a medium heat. Giving it a little drizzle of olive oil, about half a tablespoon. And to our pan, we're going to add in 450 grams or a pound of ground beef. Extra lean if you can. Give our meat a little bit of salt, help suck out that moisture. Our meat and get it spread out in little pieces. Want to make sure our meat is all nice and crumbled so it spreads evenly throughout our pasta sauce. All right. So you would normally strain off your grease if you have a lot of grease, but this is a really lean meat I got from my local butcher. So now we're going to add in half a diced onion. And give this a saute. So as we're cooking this, we're developing a nice fond on the bottom of the pan, which in a few seconds we're going to release that by adding in about 2 tablespoons to a quarter cup of wine. Red wine, of course. Throw in our red wine. Now we're going to throw in a teaspoon of chilies, a tablespoon of dried thyme, a tablespoon of dried oregano, and a tablespoon of garlic granules. You can use fresh here, but this is meant to be quick and easy, so we're gonna go with the garlic granules, and it gives it a bit more umami flavor than fresh garlic. Now to our sauce, we are gonna add in a can of crushed tomatoes, roughly 800 milliliters, or 28 ounces. Just pour that in. A tablespoon of sugar. This is to help cut the acidity of the tomatoes. You don't have to add it if you don't want, or you can use a sugar substitute if you'd like. So now we're gonna set this and let it simmer for about 15 minutes while we get the rest of our ingredients ready. Forgot to add the black pepper. And add a bit more salt if you need to and season to taste. And now let's let this simmer for another 15 minutes. We're gonna take about 450 grams or a pound of spinach. This is frozen, you can use fresh. Just make sure you wilt it down first in the pan. Now to this, we're gonna add 2 cups of cottage cheese or 500 grams. Now we're gonna incorporate this. And this is best done with a smaller spoon. Now you can use ricotta cheese here, a low-fat ricotta, if you don't like the texture of cottage cheese. I go back and forth, depends what kind of mood I'm in. And I've noticed between cottage cheese, the light and the 2%, the calories are exactly the same, but if you use a low-fat cottage cheese in this recipe, what happens is I find it turns to like a liquid once it's cooked, and it doesn't hold together very well. So you want to make sure you use a 2% anyways. I wouldn't go any lower than that on your fat percentage. Now we're going to add a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese. Mix it in. And realizing again, I should have did this in a bigger bowl. So then we're going to crack in 1 egg. You can use egg whites here if you want to add a bit more protein. You got about, I'd say, 100 grams of egg whites here, if you want. Season with some salt. Season with some fresh cracked pepper. Here we go. Give that one last mix. All right, so now that our sauce is done, our filling is done, we got some dried pasta here. I'm using dried pasta because it's quick. This is oven ready, so you don't need to pre-boil it. It just makes it that much quicker. It's easy, fast. If you want to use fresh pasta, go right ahead. There's no problem with it. Just make sure you weigh out how much you're using so you don't overuse it, because the point here is to keep this low calorie. Make sure we're using an oven-ready baking dish, and we're gonna place that on top of a sheet pan, just in case it overflows. It's much easier to clean a sheet pan than it is our oven. So we're gonna use a ladle of sauce for our bottom, our base. Just put in the middle and then spread it out. Now we're gonna take 3 of our sheets of pasta. These fit perfectly in my dish, so this is super simple, no breaking up the pasta necessary. Put them in. Now, we're gonna add in another layer of sauce to our noodles. You wanna make sure you get the noodles covered completely, because especially if you use them oven ready, they're not moist, so they need to absorb moisture from the sauce to make sure they're soft and tender when they're ready. If you find your sauce is too thick, you can add a little bit of water. A little bit, too much, it will become a watery sauce. But I find this consistency right here is perfect for these noodles. I've never had them undercooked, ever. Now we're gonna take our filling. So the best way to do this is to plop it so it's easy to spread across in sections, because if you put it in the center, it's actually quite hard to spread this around. So we'll put here, 3 here, and then we'll do 3 across the back. Scoop here, and fill the centers in a bit. And we just want to lightly spread this around, so just enough covers the layer. You don't have to be perfect, all goes down the same. For our next layer of noodles, straight across, boom, look at that, super simple and easy. Now we're gonna take our remaining sauce and place this over the top, and we're gonna spread this around. It's not lasagna with a nice layer of cheese. I got here about 65 grams of low-fat mozzarella, so we're gonna spread this across evenly. Make sure we get it all in there. Now we're gonna take a sheet of aluminum foil, a quick spritz with some parm. This is to keep it from sticking to the cheese. If you don't do this step, your aluminum foil will stick to the cheese. Trust me, I learned this from experience because I forgot it once. So let's put this on. Put it around tightly. So we're gonna cook this in the oven, covered for about an hour. Then we're gonna remove the top and let it cook for another 10 to 15 minutes until the cheese becomes nice and golden on top. Then we're gonna pull it out. Let's take this, place it in the oven, and I'll see you guys in an hour. All right, we're taking out of the oven after an hour. Carefully remove the top without burning our fingers. We're gonna take this and put it back in the oven for another 10 to 15 minutes until the top gets a nice golden color to it. And then we'll take it out and let it rest for 20 minutes and we'll dig in. Got a nice golden top. So what we're gonna do now is let this cool for about 15 to 20 minutes. Let it all come together, because if you cut it right now, where it's still hot, it's just gonna fall apart, be very messy. Then we'll cut it into 6 equal pieces and then we'll enjoy. So you wanna go right down the middle, lengthwise. And then we're gonna cut, size it up. So we'll cut down through this side, straight through. It's always the first piece that is not the prettiest. So that's usually the chef's piece. So since I cooked it and I'm taking it up, it's gonna be my piece anyways. Ooh, look at that. Ho, ho, ho. I mean, foodie's like, look at that. Whew. Ooh, still hot. Mmm. I mean, if you're trying to watch your weight, shed off some extra pounds, this is a great way to do it. Find the food you love and make them a healthier version or a lower calorie version. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Give a subscribe down below if you want to see more. And until next time, Foodie out.